Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to take a head-to-head comparison look with the BMW M8 Competition and the Audi RS7. Now I'm also going to throw in the Audi RS6 Avant, simply because I was unable to drive the RS7 that you'll see in today's video. I got to drive the RS6 Avant, and essentially it is the exact same vehicle, just with a different shape. We have the sedan, we have the station wagon. So in today's video, with the BMW M8 Competition, this one was pretty much fully loaded at $150,000. For the RS7, they have a starting price right around $115,000, with the RS6 starting right around $120,000. However, that can go all the way up to around $150,000, just depending on how you spec these. And the M8 does have a lower trim level, the non-competition. So these are very similarly priced in their price ranges, just depending on the model that you go with. So today we're going to take a look at both of these ultra luxurious, performance-oriented family vehicles and see which one is better and why. As we start off with the engine specifications for the M8, this has a 4.4 liter twin power turbo V8 engine paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 617 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the X-Drive all-wheel drive system. This weighs in right around 4,400 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds with a top speed of 155 miles an hour. And it also has a fuel capacity of 20.1 gallons. You'll expect the fuel economy to be 15 miles per gallon in the city and 21 out on the highway. Over on the RS7/RS6, they both have a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 engine paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it pumps out 591 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the Quattro all-wheel drive system. They weigh in right around 4,900 pounds, will do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. If you opt for the carbon ceramics, the top speed is increased to 190 miles an hour, and the fuel capacity is 19.3 gallons. You'll expect the fuel economy to be 15 miles per gallon in the city and 22 out on the highway. And then as we move our way to the exterior for the BMW M8, this Competition has a lot of carbon fiber for the front. Really nice kidney design for the grille that is narrow and wide, filling in the space between the headlights very nicely. Finished off in gloss black. It also has a forward-facing camera. There are plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling to that V8 engine. This also has LED headlights that have a great design to them, along with the DRLs that are just underneath the headlights and the high beams, with the turn signal on the upper section. There's also functional air inlets on both sides, along with more carbon fiber, really nice contoured lines that run throughout the front end, as well as a forward-facing sensor, which is a part of the adaptive cruise and all of those technology features. There's also really nice lines that run down the hood as well. And then making our way over to the RS7 now, it has a really nice front end design with the hexagonal shape for that grille. Everything is finished off in gloss black. This even has a forward-facing camera nicely incorporated underneath the Audi logo. There's also a sensor on both sides. These are a part of the adaptive cruise and all of those technology features. So it's really nice how both of these luxury performance vehicles have those daily driving characteristics. This also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals with a really nice design. I love all the vertical strips that run throughout the headlight housings. It has plenty of cutouts as well, both in the grille and on the air inlets on both sides. There's some more gloss black trim in the lower section of the bumper just to tie it in nicely with this exterior white. And the same lines run down the hood as they do on the BMW M8. So it's nice to see they do have a slight resemblance with the lines running down the hood. And then making our way to the side profile now for this M8. This has a really nice set of wheels with the two-tone design. This even has the M brakes as well, with 6 pistons up front and single pistons in the rear. This has carbon fiber just behind the front tires as well, so it just adds to that sporty design with all the carbon fiber. It's even on the side mirrors with the integrated turn signal, a camera system, which is very helpful, and the entire roof is carbon fiber. Gives it a really cool sporty design for this family vehicle. Everything is blacked out as well, just to match nicely with this unique green color. And then as we move on to the Audi RS7 now, this particular model had the upgraded 22-inch wheels. It is a large wheel for this model. Big brakes behind that as well, measuring just over 16 inches for the brake calipers, just over 14 inches in the rear. Plenty of stopping power for this model. Now on the Audi, it's a little bit more on the luxury side, with the side mirrors being finished off in gloss black. This has a full panoramic sunroof, finished off in that same gloss black, so it matches nicely, especially with the window trim being blacked out as well, along with the lower side skirt too. gives it more of that ultra luxurious look. I believe that carbon fiber can be an option, as there is carbon fiber on the interior, but on the rear end of this M8, more carbon fiber is on the trunk. This has a backup camera, all the parking sensors, even LED taillights as well. There's gloss black in the lower diffuser as well as the quad tip dual exhaust. And then on the back of this Audi, this has a gloss black trunk lip spoiler. It even has an active wing, which the M8 does not have. The LED bar runs right through the middle of the power liftgate as well. Has a backup camera, parking sensors, more gloss black in the lower section. However, this model has a dual exhaust with a single exit on both sides. And then as we make our way to the cargo space now, like I mentioned earlier, the M8 is more of a grand coupe, but it's also considered more of a sedan with this trunk style to it. Plenty of room in the rear cargo area for any items you'd like to place. There's some battery components that you can gain access to, a little bit of storage space on the passenger side. And the back seats also fold down as well, making this that much more practical, where you can put in a lot of items if needed. Over on the RS7 now, the rear hatch is power operated, so you can use the button on the key fob, and this provides you with even more storage space than the M8. Obviously with the RS6 Avant, that has even more storage space, but as you can tell with the back seats up, there is a lot of room. There's even some storage up underneath the floor if you want to use that. And then just like the M8, the back seats do fold down, so you have a lot more storage space. There's no overhangs. Obviously, with this not being a traditional trunk, gives you a lot of space. And then with that power liftgate, you can easily close that back up. And then as we move on now to the back seats for this M8 Competition, this was a really nice spec. I love the color of this interior. Obviously, you can spec both of these however you'd like to. Really nice brushed aluminum. I love it covering the speaker covers. It's even on the window controls too. And as we hop into the back seats now for this M8, I'm 5'10". I had plenty of room for my feet and my legs, as well as plenty of room for my head too. So this being a grand coupe, a stretched version of the coupe variant, still retains a lot of headroom for the rake for the roof there. And then right in the middle, there is an armrest as well as the cup holders, a little bit of storage space if you need to use it. So it makes it practical for your backseat passengers. And then this has a lot of climate controls right in the middle, even heated seats for your rear passengers. You can adjust fan speed, all of that. There's 2 USBs as well and a little bit of storage. And this also has sunshades for both rear doors as well as the rear glass. So it's nice if you want to be a little bit more comfortable, get out of that sun, you can quickly adjust those. Over on the RS7, like I mentioned earlier, there's carbon fiber on the interior, suede, leather, even the brushed aluminum to give it that premium feel. And looking at these seats now, they have a really nice design with all of the red stitching. This gives it a very classy and luxurious look. And just like the M8, 5'10", I had plenty of room for my feet and my legs. Even with that rear window sloping all the way down, as you can tell from this angle, there's a bubble where you have plenty of headroom. Seats are equally as comfortable. Right in the middle, there's also an armrest, as most vehicles have, a little bit of storage, as well as the cup holders if you need to use that. And then right in the middle, just like the M8, there is a screen where you can adjust all the climate controls. We have heated seats as well, which is great to see. Fan speed, climate controls, even some auxiliaries to charge your electronics. So very, very similar to the M8. And then making our way to the front now for the M8, the door panels finished off just like the rear. Very nice materials. This even has an illuminating M8 Competition badge down on the door sill. And the seats are equally as nice, just like the rear seats obviously. Two-tone design, all the perforations running down them. They are automatic seats with the exception of the front section being manual. So if you want a little bit more leg comfort, you can quickly adjust that. Over on the RS7, door panels finished off just like the rear obviously, with all the brushed aluminum, all the Alcantara. It's a very nice setup. And these seats are fantastic looking. Very similar to the M8 as well, with the adjustments for the front section, as well as all of the automatic adjustments. And then hopping into the M8 and looking at this digital gauge cluster now, there's a lot of information that you can go through, and everything that you can configure is within the right side of the screen located within the TAC, where you can go through all of these vitals just depending on what you'd like to see. And obviously we have all the steering wheel controls, even the M buttons, where you can set this up and have it ready to go depending on the driving that you're doing. Over on the RS7 and the RS6 Avant, same digital gauge cluster. There's a lot more configurability, however, with this Audi system. Engine temperature and fuel gauge are fixed on both sides. And then as you can tell right now, the navigation is in full screen and it minimizes some of the other information on the left and the right. And like I mentioned, there's a lot of configurability to this screen where you can even change the settings too, where the tach is located front and center, and the information that you'd like to go through will hide its way over to the left side. So just depending on what you like to go through, there's all the vital information that you need. Over on the M8, this has a touchscreen system right in the middle. You can use some controls to go through that if needed, but there's a lot more info that you can go through, as well as being able to set up those M1 and M2 buttons. So it's very sporty that you can do that and just control how you like this vehicle to drive. Over on the Audi now, there are actually two screens in the middle. The upper screen has all the normal information that you need to go through, your drive select, so you can configure that. You can also look at your seats, your driver assistance, go through your AC, all of those different vitals, and all of those settings on the left side are fixed. Like your music, phone, navigation, those are quick shortcuts to get to. And then on the BMW, for all the climate controls, those are nicely laid out just underneath the screen, where you can see all these adjustments, including your radio adjustments. Everything is finished off in brushed aluminum too, so that way you can differentiate your temperature, fan speed from all the other controls. Over on the Audi, like I said, there's another screen for all of your climates. There's a few other things that you can go through within the system as well, like activating that rear wing, going through your heated and ventilated seats, which the M8 is missing. I think it's a really nice design. It hides a lot of the buttons to have a second screen, giving it more of that luxury feel that Audi is known for having. So it's a really nice update that Audi has made. The M8 Competition is meant for performance. So I have it in the M mode. We have it over into Sport Plus, the M2 button here for all of that. And being a brand new vehicle, there's only so much I can do. If you want to see us driving a lot more spiritedly in the mountains, I'll have all of our M4 competition videos down in the description below. I would assume this is going to handle very similar, even though it's stretched more for the Grand Coupe. It only weighs about 100 pounds or so more than the M8 Coupe that I was just in. So the handling characteristics shouldn't be that much different. Now I'm saying that not being on some twisty roads, but we do have some turns where we can check out that handling. So here's a right. And very, very solid around that turn. We have a few more that we can get on. But yeah, so if you want a sporty sedan that has all that, this is a great option. And I currently have the transmission in the quickest shifting mode. I'm not sure why you would want to tone it down to the slowest transmission setting, but if we put it in the slowest one, there's obviously a delay. And there it goes. So I'm not sure why that is there. You can even adjust that in the regular mode. So if you're just driving it without using the paddles, you can adjust how quickly you want it to shift on its own, which is kind of cool, I guess, just depending on how you like to drive this. But it's cool that we still get those pops. I'm not a huge wagon fan, but I would definitely get this because it's an all-wheel drive beast that you can pretty much daily drive, and you could take it out on the track. We have this RS mode button that really gives you this sporty gauge cluster. You can hear that exhaust get a little bit louder as well. So you could daily drive this. You could take this out on some back mountain roads and really rip on it. This would be a fun family vehicle to have that has plenty of room for everything that you need, yet at the same time, we still have a beast of a sports car with the wagon exterior. So with that being said, I already have it in RS mode. We can pop it over for the manual setting here and downshift a little bit and listen to that exhaust. And that's not doing anything crazy. Obviously, this has so much more potential than what I'm going to throw at it in today's video, but that sounded pretty good. I'm gonna do it again here from second gear. You can feel that car kind of let off too when you let off the gas. Like, it just keeps wanting to go, and it has so much power. This also has the Quattro Sport rear differential as well, so it will control the inside wheel depending on the turns that you're going around to monitor the power. So we have the Quattro all-wheel drive system, and you can basically drive this anywhere you want. You can go in inclement weather with all of that grip. As we start off from second gear again here. As we come back now for our final thoughts between the M8 Competition and the RS7 and the RS6 Avant, both of these, or all three of these, are very, very highly performance-oriented family vehicles. If you're looking for something that has that performance and you need the practicality of an everyday daily driver, it's a perfect blend. Now, one thing that I will say with the RS7 having the RS6 Avant variant, I think that BMW really needs to introduce a wagon because Mercedes Benz has one, Audi has the Avant, and BMW needs to make a wagon. Now, they're not that crazy popular in the United States, but I know that when the Avant first came to the US, there was a high demand. They were going for well over their MSRP because of the demand and how many people wanted to be the first to get that vehicle and drive it around. Both of these vehicles are going to be phenomenal options just depending on what you're looking for out of your vehicle. The BMW M8 to me is going to be a little bit more sporty. However, driving the RS6 Avant, it almost sounds very similar. They both have a V8, both have an 8-speed, very quick transmissions. They sound good too, plenty of space for all the items you'd like to place in them. And they are both just fun to drive. They each have an all-wheel drive system, so they're very, very, very similar competitors, especially with their pricing too, again, just depending on the model that you're going with. Comment down below and let me know which model you would go with and why, including the RS7 and the RS6 Avant, just depending on the model that you like, whether you want a sedan or a hatchback. With the M8, maybe we'll see a hatchback or a station wagon at some point. I think I've heard BMW hinting at it, so possibly we'll see that in the future. But again, the M8 Competition, really nice, really quiet. I love how there's not a lot of tech in the BMW. It still has a good amount of technology. It's just not as configurable as the Audi. If you want a little bit more configurability, go with the Audi, but they are both great options. I've been able to be in a lot of Audis, a lot of BMWs. They are fun to drive, very practical. If you have a family, you need that space. But that's gonna wrap it up for today's head-to-head comparison with the BMW M8, the RS7, the RS6 Avant. Let me know which one you think is better and why. I really don't think there can be a winner, just depends on if you're a BMW fan or you're an Audi fan. They're both great options. Give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.